Ah! Evan, wait! Evan! Come on, man, it's every time. I get why you're upset.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. You upset about the Sportsman's Guide thing, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm mad about it because nobody got any savings.
And they didn't use code War Poet?
They didn't even use code War Poet. Check out.
No, it's a psychotic thing to cry about. You can't keep doing this, man.
I just want everybody to save money when you use code War Poet.
Well, these people can't, but maybe they can, right? There's hope.
Those people?
Yeah, let's get out of here, man. It's all right. Come on. It's okay. It's okay. Oh, okay, we'll do this. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. So one of the worst things anyone has ever said to me happened when I was preparing for a combat mission. This was either Afghanistan or Iraq, I don't remember. And I have said this to other people since, so spread the poison, right? We were getting all of our kit on, doing our pre-mission checks, trying to rehearse battle plans kind of for our objective that we're getting on. And somebody said to me, man, I think it'll go all right, but I just got a bad feeling that you're not gonna make it. And then silence. You're like, what do you do with that? How dare you? But anyway, it was so horrific. It was such a terrible thing to say to someone that it was really actually funny. This is graveyard humor. So all of the military, all police departments, all EMS, and anyone that's ever had a really dangerous job or been around death a lot, they all run on this thing called graveyard humor. Now, to people who are outside of this, it looks incredibly insensitive. It looks disrespectful and crass, because it kind of is. But the thing is it works, and it serves a really, really important purpose. You should be really careful, judicious about where you dole this stuff out. There's a really wrong time. Most times are really wrong, and most people are wrong to do it on. But in certain professions and with certain individuals, this can be something that really helps you weather a storm. When you think about a storm, whether it's a hurricane or tornado or something like that, you can look at a tree and say, this looks like a really sturdy tree right here, but you imagine enough wind and this guy's just gonna crack. Whereas you find other trees that can move with the wind a little bit more, they can flex. That's graveyard humor. Some things are just so horrible, so terrible, that if you don't have a certain flexibility, much in the way of comedy as well, which is an incredible, incredible survival mechanism, then you're just gonna snap. Some of the most dangerous and tough people on the planet that I know have this thing called graveyard humor. It's a secret coping mechanism that when used right can get you through some of the worst times. Some comedians that I know, like guys like Robin Williams or Jim Carrey, usually have these tragic pasts accompanying them, and it's out of the tragedy and the horror. They're trying to cheer up their parents or something when they're really young. That's where they really believe their comedy career began. What you find is some of the funniest people on the planet seem to be people who have had dire straits and tragic times that they went through. This has provided a really good coping mechanism that other people just don't frankly understand. In short, don't take life too seriously, because no one gets out alive. And here, now I'm the comedian, but none of you laughed, so I'll stick to my day job. So as I start thinking about graveyard humor, all these stories just start flooding me. One that isn't even my story, but it belonged to our lieutenant in 2nd Ranger Battalion. He was a good LT too. He spent about 7 years in the unit and then came to us. He was super squared away. But anyway, he had a soldier who was injured downish here. And so he was beside, operating kind of table. He said, "Don't worry, son, we got some of the best prosthetics around." I'm like, that's like the worst thing to say to someone. Right? I remember another buddy in the service where we would interact with just different indigenous troops or different indigenous population. I think this is Afghanistan or whatnot. And they had these young boys called squad boys. And the idea is they would sell these to you for terrible, horrible purposes. I'm not throwing rocks at a culture. Every culture has their sickos, and we rub shoulders with them too. Anyway, we were trying to reciprocate. So we would take this young soldier that we loved, you know, a buddy of ours, and we were always trying to sell him into sex slavery amidst the Afghanis. And some of you guys are like, that's horrible. How could you? I'm like, dude, it's that stuff that really kind of kept morale up and kept us alive. It was a horrible, terrible thing, just like what we were going through in some of the other stuff. And so before you throw rocks at somebody, just understand what is actually happening. Now, some of it, the real mean-spirited stuff that broke people down, that's a really toxic thing. It can be a really bad thing. So really it matters whether you actually have an affection and a brotherhood amongst you. And then graveyard humor can be really, really helpful. And if you're not built kind of the same way and have that already existing rapport, then this is usually almost always going to be a terrible idea. So you don't go up to a grieving widow and try a little graveyard humor. She's going to punch you in the nose, and then I'm going to too. You're just a terrible person, right? And so you got to be real careful with this, but in the right place at the right time, humor can be a bit of a superpower, right? It can help you carry on. So anyway, guys, I thought it was an important enough subject that's so dark and uncomfortable, other people wouldn't talk to it, but man, it is incredible. Again, I say, military, law enforcement, EMS, and other high stakes, terrifying jobs, they run on this issue. So it becomes incredibly important. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, toggle the notifications bell to all so you hear from us when we launch videos. Make sure you like, share, comment down below with all of your fun stories. Great things happen down in the comments, right? And read the links in the description because there's all kinds of goodies there for you as well. Anyway, guys, train hard, train smart, and make fun of each other because it's hilarious.